Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the top 25 character ranking for July 2023. I've been doing this, I've done this twice already in January and in April. I think every 3 months is a good cadence for it, and we've had a lot of new characters come in. And with new characters, we have new additions to the top 25, which means we had to lose some to make space. And the four that are out this time around are Darth Vader, Bam, General Grievous, and General Kenobi. That doesn't mean these are bad characters. This is just an exclusive ranking. Top 25 is very high as far as non-galactic legends. There's over 250 characters in the game, so this is a top 10% ranking. Darth Vader, I've really just been souring on him for a long time now. Plenty of it seems like every 3v3 JC he sits it out on the bench or is useless on defense. In 5v5 he's just a nice little add-on for Lord Vader, not crucial. And then Bam, General Grievous, General Kenobi. I mean, they're great. General Kenobi is a great supporting character. He's like the quintessential tank, but he's not the backbone of any team in particular. Bam, great ship. Same with General Grievous. But they're both coming down a little bit in value. General Grievous, it's probably like ranked 26th, honestly. If anyone were to stay in the list, it would have been him. But sadly, he is out. And before I look at rank 21 through 25, I did just want to clarify that I'm trying to the best of my ability, consider all game modes. But in my mind, Grand Arena is the most important. Territory War is a little bit lower. Same with Territory Battle. Conquest is very important. There's a lot of different things to weigh, so there could be a lot of differences everywhere, but plenty of game modes to consider. So rank 21 through 25 is Boushh, Seer, Merrin, Piet, and Mara Jade. And I've added a ranking tracker to compare them to the last time I did this ranking. It's just what's in my head. I don't have anyone polled on it or anything. But I hope it'll help you keep track of past rankings. Let me know if you like it or if it makes it too cluttered on the screen. But Piet falling down the most, I just have lost a lot of confidence in Imperial Troopers, and honestly, it's his status as Fleet Commander to the Executor that keeps him in the game. I am considering ships to some extent, but Imperial Troopers, it's hard to find use for them. They're still a great team if there's a lot of conditions met, like if they can get out in front and not get dazed or anything. They're still an amazing team, and he's the best character on that team, but he's still falling in viability for me. Mara Jade's still number 25. I still think she's an amazing character. I was pointing out last time that she's an amazing character in Territory Battle, which I agree, which is why she's in the top 25. She's awesome in that Starkiller lineup. And she makes this list over Emperor Palpatine. But I don't know how much higher I could go than 25 for her, although you could definitely make an argument. And then Seer and Merrin, brand new. I don't even know if they were in the game last time I did the ranking, or much less, maybe they had just come out, but I hadn't really seen what they could do. Seer is awesome. She's been giving me so many problems in Grand Arena, 3v3 mostly, but 5v5, she's going to be a monster. And Unaligned Force users are such a strong team, and she is the Unaligned Force user leader. She has a mixed squad, so it's kind of weird to use her in PvE. You could use her in those middle zones. In TB, but she also has a specialized mission. And Merrin is awesome. Until last season, Night Sisters were able to take out Jabba, and they might be able to still do it now. Honestly, they have a dedicated Datacron set, so I haven't looked too much into it recently, but she's an awesome character, makes that whole team just incredible, mainly on offense, but on defense too. And then Boushh goes up just a little bit because of her raid viability. She was on this list last season, but she still stayed at a high ranking at 21, even with some new additions above her. So she's doing very well. She's basically the lifter to that Java team, makes it so amazing with the thermals. And that raid Omicron is such a nice quality of life touch. Next up, we got ranks 16 through 20. And we got another new face here, Captain Rex. And I might be stretching a little bit for him. I think he is an incredible character. He's so good in pretty much every game mode we've seen so far. He has a Grand Arena Omicron that we haven't seen to its full potential yet in 5v5 Grand Arena. But in the Squad Arena, he does some great things. Taking out General Skywalker, I believe. Easily taking out Commander Luke. And taking out Reva, seriously. Which is just crazy to think that the Phoenix can do that. And it's all because of him. He has such great stat boost, such great mechanics. I wanted to give him top 20 right away, even though we still haven't seen his full potential yet. Chewbacca falling down a spot to 19. Still top 20 character, but you know, he depends on Han Solo as well, and not necessarily Commander Luke. He just needs Han with him. But I do think Han is the top of that duo. Zori, rank 18, coming up one, and maybe she doesn't deserve it, maybe she does, but she's the best lifter unit in the game, or turd polisher, as Zareth would say, which is a great term. She just takes a bunch of random people and makes them amazing. I mean, those leftover resistance characters, she dominated my Lord Vader when I came in against preloaded turn meter with her. You have to come at her with just the right approach to make it work. Otherwise, you're going to get destroyed. That team is incredible in Grand Arena mostly, but also in other game modes, you can make it work well. Territory War, I still haven't figured out how best to use her, but still an awesome character. Then Dr. Aphra, down 3. She does not have as much of a crutch with Datacrons as she has and had in the past. Set 6 was just, I mean, incredible for her with her specific level 9. And that set 7 was great with extra potency. But right now, it's harder for me to find great use for her. She's easily countered on defense in 3v3, and 5v5 is a little bit more difficult. But she's still a great character. I love using her in territory battle, and she can get a lot of stuff done in Grand Arena. I haven't tried to take out Jabba with her in a while, but she did counter Jabba for a while, which is very good. And then Traya, I just gave her a little bit more respect this time, up 5 rankings from previously 21. And yes, this is mainly because of just Grand Arena. That's where she has the most viability, but she is so dominant in that game mode that she merits getting bumped up to 16. With the right team, she's basically like Galactic Legend in that game mode, and she's also very important to newer players improving grounds. She just seems to be great at handling whatever they throw out in that game mode. And also can find good use in Territory War in a variety of ways. So awesome, awesome character, Darth Traya, rank 16. Moving on to the top 15, we got, in order from 11 to 15, Wat Tambor, Han Solo, Commander Luke under Han, Jedi Cal, and Grand Inquisitor. So I'll start talking about them from the bottom up. Grand Inquisitor, I did drop him by 2 spots, but that's just because I bumped Han up, and also Jedi Cal made his debut. But Grand Inquisitor is super important, and for all the hype that Reva gets, she cannot do nearly as much without Grand Inquisitor. You need him there. He gives the extra stack of Purge to get to 6 stacks across the whole other team, and his Torture, his TM swap, his bonus turn to get things going, all super important. He has great damage, pretty good survivability, at least in the right circumstances and the right leadership. But he's just an awesome character. Across pretty much all game modes. I mean, great in TB, great in Grand Arena, and Territory War, he has his Omicrons, and I think he's an even better Inquisitor leader than Reva in Territory War. So he's fantastic and might even be getting shafted a bit by being down to 15, but still an amazing character. Then Jedi Knight Cal, obviously a new character in the game, very recent. And it might be too soon to put him this high at 14, but it really didn't feel right putting him much lower or much higher. He's still unproven. I still think he has potential to go higher, like be a top 10 character. Probably not like top 5 or anything, and I doubt he would not be in this list at all, but we still have so much yet to see. He has plenty of great stat boosts for his team. His mechanics are pretty interesting, but right now why he doesn't go higher for me is he's just kind of an element in the formula for any team. He's not going to be the leader on his own outside of territory battle. So he goes with Revan sometimes, could be with Jedi Knight Luke or Jedi Master Luke, but he's not the leader of any of those teams. And I still have yet to see a team with Cal do anything more than it could have otherwise. So it was kind of weird. Like, his impact is limited, but he's still a strong character, which is why he gets 14. Now, Han and CLS. Every other ranking I've done of these, I've always put CLS ahead of Han Solo. And in a certain way, CLS is better. But I just feel like Han's impact in any game mode you're to play is larger. It is a bigger impact. Shooting first and stunning, including all the extra damage he does, makes him feel better than CLS. In 3v3, I think this is an isolated way to analyze this. When you put Han and Chewie with Dash, I'd argue that's much better than a CLS team without either of them. And could you make that work without Dash lead? I don't know, or like separate Chewie from Han. I don't think so. I mean, Han and Chewie really go together. They're a dynamic duo, but I still think Han is on top in that. And let me know what you think. I only put them 12 and 13. They're barely separated at all. I could be convinced otherwise, but 3v3 just really helps me to see I think Han is more impactful. So he went up 3 spots. And then Wat Tambor, I bumped up 1. He can do some great things with Trench. He makes that work well. He's always going to be the permanent babysitter for Galactic Legends that want to solo something with a little bit of help. Throw him with Sith Eternal Emperor is the most common use. But yeah, I mean, I still think he's just a fantastic character. He's not top 10. If he had his weapon tech in its former state, he would absolutely be top 10. It's kind of weird for me to know what to do with him, but I did bump him up 1 this round. And now we have the top 10, 6 through 10 in order. We got Maul, Malak, Darth Revan, Jedi Knight Revan, and Jedi Knight Luke. Starting with Jedi Knight Luke, falling 4 spots is a lot. And is he better than Jedi Knight Revan in PvP? I do think so. But Revan, I just bumped a little bit higher than him because of the crate raid. There aren't too many characters that are viable in this raid, or even allowed in the raid. But Jedi Knight Revan is one of them. Maul's another, hence part of his, which is part of the reason for his rise as well. But Jedi Knight Revan, you know, he's one of the few factions you can get in there. He's one of the 5 squads you're going to use in that raid, and that's the only raid in town right now. It's the only one of importance. So it just felt right to bump him up a little bit. As for Jedi Knight Luke, he's still an amazing character. I mean, he's still a top 10 character, but in my mind, it's hard. It feels hard for him to do much without Jedi Master Luke. In 3v3, that kind of opened my eyes too, because I tried to take on Darth Revan team, and of course, Darth Revan had Malak with him, who's another top 10 character. But it was on paper, the theory was sound, but just Jedi Knight Luke couldn't get it done, and I have a pretty well modded Jedi Knight Luke for the purpose of his lead, and then even as a supporting cast member. I love his AoE stun, like an irresistible AoE stun is incredible. We don't have many of those in the game. He's the only one, actually. I'm pretty sure. But I love his special buff. I love his basic, one of the best basics in the game. Just very strong, great health and protection pool. So he's still an amazing character. It just feels like he can't get too much done without Jedi Master Luke. And you could say the same thing for Revan, but again, there's that raid viability in there. And right now, with Old Republic Datacrons, I try not to consider Datacrons too much for this, but it does affect the game in a big way. And for just a little while now, he's going to have an edge with his lover, Bastila, her special Datacron. But I don't want to put too much into it. The +1, the crate raid alone, is enough to give him that boost. Then Darth Revan, I love Darth Revan. I am such a big fan of Darth Revan. AoE Fear is arguably better than AoE Stun, although it can just be dispelled upon being hit. But there are a little bit fewer callouts to Fear than there are to Stun. There's plenty of resistance to Stun out there, and just a little bit less to Fear, and Fear is such a strong mechanic. Also AoE Shock, amazing. Decreasing his own cooldowns. He has a great leadership, and I think outside of Grand Arena, you kind of want his leadership over Malgus in some ways. Let me know what you think. We still don't run that in like Territory War or anything. That's just kind of like my own opinion. I love his lead on Dathomir and TB. Just a great character overall, and he's one of my favorites. I think Sith Empire is like the coolest faction in the game, so glad he is still up high at number 8. And then Malak, he's like Darth Revan's go-to teammate. You could argue that Revan is better than Malak, but I'm not going to make that argument today. Malak's just an amazing tank, and now that I have him at R9, he's even better. A lot of people are going to have him at R9. And honestly, in a few months, next time, Revan will probably get an even bigger bump, because I'm doing this ranking before Leviathan comes out. Whether that's a mistake or not, I don't know. You tell me. I kind of like it as a snapshot at this point in time, and we'll see what happens when Leviathan comes out. And then, of course, Maul rising higher because he is an amazing character, has a great team for the crate raid, lots of plug-and-play viability, or not too much plug-and-play, but he goes with a lot of characters. He can go with Lord Vader. He can have his own team. I think he's awesome with a Seer team. It really gives teeth to that squad, but Malicos is going to fill that role soon. Just an awesome character. I don't use him too much for or I don't use him at all for Galactic Legend counters on his own. But he can counter Riva in Territory War, and then in Grand Arena, somewhat. It's kind of iffy. But just fantastic character and really awesome dude. I'm happy to put Maul at rank 6. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, the top 5. Has anything changed since last time? Is it all exactly the same? The answer is no, it is not exactly the same. Things have changed just a little bit. And a lot of this came into my mind when I was doing my Conquest character ranking for what's most valuable. And I'm at Commander Tano below Maul and Malgus. Now in this ranking, of course, Commander Tano is not below Maul, which, you know, it's hard to square how I'm ranking these things. I'd still put Malgus on top because in Grand Arena, he is a titan on his own. He has the most Galactic Legend traits out of any non-Galactic Legend character, including Riva. Just because he is so strong and durable, has so much extra survivability. I mean, Riva has the characteristic and basically the Malik ability of where, or Kylo Ren Unmasked too, where you take reduced damage from percent health effects, which really makes him invulnerable to a lot of different damage types. But Commander Tano, you know, I put her at 5 instead of 3 because she's not the leader of her own squad. She goes along with Jedi Master Kenobi almost exclusively for earlier accounts, and this is increasingly rare just because of how long it takes to get a character through Proving Grounds. You can run her under Padme, but it's way easier to get Jedi Master Kenobi for a new player than a Conquest character, an old Conquest character, which is sad. But, I mean, she's amazing. Top 5, don't get me wrong, that's incredible. But she really just depends on Jedi Master Kenobi for her top potential, and he's, in a lot of ways, the best Galactic Legend, so I bumped her down too. And that just slid up Starkiller and Malgus up 1 spot each. So Starkiller is in 3rd. He's a fantastic character. Is one of the smoothest Galactic Legend counters out there for a non-Galactic Legend. The way you can take out Rey with him, if you know what you're doing, it's super consistent. And just, I don't know, the bonuses he gives to his team in Grand Arena are amazing. Is so good. Also in Territory War, now that Juhani, or it's been a while now, but with the Juhani Omicron 2, super viable there. So Magus and Starkiller, just awesome. And then the top 2, still Riva and General Skywalker. That hasn't changed. General Skywalker is getting even better with the current Datacron set, but again, I don't want to read too much into that for the purpose of these rankings. But his viability is increasing more than Riva's. Her team, the Inquisitors, they're all about getting the kill really fast, and they kind of like die down after a little bit. So they don't benefit as much from the bulky cron as other teams, because in a long game, they kind of die out to a lot of the teams that could otherwise roll over. But she's still the best character in the game. That's not a Galactic Legend. That hasn't changed in my mind. Even though Captain Rex can beat her, she still can win against all Galactic Legends. Which no other character can say that. It's just unparalleled in the game. And do I think it's weird that she's the best character? Yeah, it's kind of weird. But there's a lot of characters that it's weird that they're as good as they are. Zori Bliss has like 2 minutes of screen time. Marin, Marin Cal, they're in video games, which, you know, I haven't played yet. I hear they're good. But there's some weird obscure characters. I mean, Boushh Leia, like, it's such a random character. They just used her because they needed some new characters that they could associate with Jabba. So, I mean, the lore argument, I'm not going to make too much of it. But yeah, Riva's the best. Yes, it's the second. And then Starkiller, Malgus, and Commander Tano. And no ranking would be complete without some honorable mentions. I did not ensure that this is an exhaustive list. So let me know who is an honorable mention in your mind. I removed Wampa and put in Savage, because Savage, if this was a Grand Arena ranking, of course he's top 25. He is so good, but it's literally just Grand Arena. He does nothing anywhere else. So that's why he's not top 25 in my mind. I added Ben and Palpatine as honorable mentions, just because, you know, I don't think they have a real chance at top 25, but they're great characters, supporting characters, or leaders in their own perspective. In their own right. And a lot of these other characters were in the top 25 at some point in my mind, and then just got bumped down. So let me know, who do you think should be in the honorable mentions? That is all for now, folks. Thanks so much for watching. Share your opinions. Love to hear them. I know rankings are a point of contention for a lot of people. A lot of people have differing opinions, so I'd love to hear them. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed, and sub if you haven't already, and be well, guys.